Oh, hey there. Didn't see you. Welcome back. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast, episode 17. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2026. I'm a little bit miffed about the UFO files. We'll get into the Iran and we'll touch on this hantavirus bullshit, and then I'll bring up a story that maybe you forgot about. But before we do any of that, please like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who have already done so. I appreciate it. I love watching numbers go up, and I feel like what I have to say have some substance. So let's jump right into this. The UFO files. Donald Trump's UFO files. Let's see if he can fuck this up as good as he fucked up what the hell? What were those called? Oh, the Epstein files. Yeah, that thing. Anyways, just a little bit of info. If you would like to see the UFO files, please go in your web browser and type in https://www.war.gov/UFO or arrow.mil, aaro.mil. They're MIL. So on the war.gov site, there's 16 pages of web pages of PDF formats from everything from NASA, FBI, CIA, etc. There's videos, there's documents, there's images. Some of these now a lot of the images and the videos will be in either black and white, infrared, or white hot. I guess, or black hot as well. The reason why you don't see a bunch of them in color is because just the contrast of the background. You really wouldn't be able to see it very well on camera unless it was in infrared. And just so you can see a contrast between the layered temperatures in the background. That's why they're all in those kind of grainy. They're really. It's not a magnificent video or quality or anything. So that's why they're not in color. And this first wave of releases goes back to the 40s, the 50s, and so you're seeing shit that's been FOIA requested. I'm just gonna jump into this. This stuff is bullshit. I am so glad that we have something of a little bit to nibble on here, and it's the first time I heard a very, very respected, I respect the shit out of him, I listen to his content, and I read what I can through journalist Michael Schellenberger, and I really appreciate his optimism on everything. He's an optimistic person. So his take on it is this is the biggest thing. Him, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp. George Knapp's been kind of quiet on this, but I think I might know why, and I think that George Knapp might agree with me. So Schellenberger says that this is the biggest, at least we got this, it's bigger than anything that we've ever gotten before from the government. Okay, I'll give you that. But here's the problem. I've already seen a bunch of these damn videos when I was like 10 years old watching William Shatner host Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, I'm watching Fox News go, oh my God, look at this. And I'm just in my memory bank of like, I've fucking seen that. There ain't nothing special about that. What are you declassifying here? So I think that this is basically just another big old bag of bullshit to, I don't know, man. Are they gonna distract us with something? Anyway, so my wife comes to me, and I told her on Friday, and apologies for not coming to you with this on Friday when it was released, But I didn't even know until after I stopped recording this. So my wife looked into a couple of them, and she was like, well, I guess I just thought I'd see some aliens or a spaceship. I was like, no, man. You ain't gonna, it's just like the Epstein files. You ain't gonna see shit. You ain't gonna see shit. You're gonna see a bunch of, there's even an image out there that's clearly a friggin' helicopter. It's a helicopter. And they're like, ooh, look at that. Now, in both of the war.govs/UFO and the arrow.mil websites, it'll tell you whether it's resolved or unresolved. And so it'll sit there and say, it's a pack of birds, or whatever, or it'll say unresolved. Some of the unresolved ones are interesting, but again, it's just stuff you've seen over the decades get released through fucking Geraldo Rivera and the History Channel over the years, Discovery Channel. And the problem is we have, I think, I don't know if this is a problem in the West, America specifically, I don't know. But we don't remember what the fuck we were doing 6 hours ago. That's how this whole hantavirus is. We're going to get to the hantavirus thing. But that's why this whole Iran thing is going. You've got these same fucking kooks that were in charge of stuff back in the Bush-Cheney area, in charge of the exact same playbook with a neighboring country. As if we completely forgot about the whole weapons of mass destruction. We heard everything about Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, and then we're going into Iran 20 years later, 23 years later, and these guys are like, they don't remember shit. Let's just tell them the same stuff. They got nukes. They got weapons of, well, what the fuck is a weapon of mass destruction? It's a nuke. And so now, where's the nukes? Show me the nukes. Where is it? Because all I know is I've just been seeing a bunch of videos of places that you're calling depots getting blown to shit. And then you say like, we deteriorated their this. Well, but we didn't, because they're still shooting at us with that. And it's the same thing with these UFO things, man. It's like, there hasn't been a bunch of new stuff come out about the UFO thing for a hot minute. And so we, radio warriors like, and I understand George Knapp is on television, but just laugh at the term with me. Radio warriors with folks like George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, and Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, who I don't want to say that guy's a kook, but, when I first started paying attention to Stephen Greer, I pay a lot less of attention to him now. I'll say that. I think that Jeremy Corbell is far too optimistic. I like George Knapp. I was listening to an episode of Weaponized when it first came out, where Jeremy Corbell was saying that he's super excited about disclosure. We're going to get disclosure. I think this was when, what was that guy's name? David Grush. When David Grush was coming out and they were doing congressional hearings with Commander David Fravor, David Grush, and the other younger pilot. Forgive me, can't remember his name right now. But, Jeremy Corbell was with, we're going to get disclosure. Nothing like this has happened in a long time. And then George Knapp just basically says, whoa, kid, pump the brakes. I've been covering this shit for decades. And every so often they come out and they give you a little sprinkling of it. And then you get wound up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's coming. And then nothing comes. And that was George Knapp's take, and that's my take. And so I think that this, I think this release it's bogus, I get it. There's other stuff from the past, the Neil Armstrong quotes and things. Those are interesting. Show me the one where you say that it's a security camera on an oil rig somewhere in the ocean and a 500, what did they say? like a fucking 500-yard, like a gigantic thing that barely fits in any part of the frame of this video. The camera is on this oil rig facing the ocean, and then the this underwater thing the size of a football field or better goes at super speeds underwater, and the camera catches it. Show me that one. Show me that one. Right? If you are questioning whether or not I have seen these things on an episode of 1994's Unsolved Mysteries, I point back to the Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos. Those videos are just as compelling as any of the other videos that were dropped in these UFO files. But we already had access to them as the public. And those were 20 years ago. You know, David Fravor's encounter was 2004, maybe 2007, fucking 20 years ago. And I don't know about the East Coast sighting. Not 100% sure on the gimbal. There's another sighting that happened in the Gulf that the command did, I believe, take the evidence. David Fravor, you got to listen to David Fravor's story. David Fravor's actually a badass, regardless of his nerdy glasses and his speech cadence. He's kind of a badass. Listen to his story, and basically he says, nope, you're giving me that because that's my command. This is my command. That videotape, that recording is on my books. And if I don't have that shit in my hand, I'm accountable for that, and I'm not going to let you seize it. You're giving it to me. He takes it. And so he releases it to the world sometime a bit later. Anyway, so yeah, I think this is bunk. I think this is bunk like the Epstein files are bunk. I don't think that if we do, great. We probably will. We'll probably get another dump of info. But it'll be, months down the line. That's what I was going to say. With the Commander David Fravor thing, the Tic Tac is reportedly they were saying that this Tic Tac shaped UFO was doing incredible maneuvers close to the water. It was seeming to off the coast of San Diego, seeming to be interacting with something in the water. And then it would, bounce around in the atmosphere and stuff. Well, then there was another sighting a while back in the Gulf, Gulf of Mexico. If you want to rename it the Gulf of the Americas and get the rest of us on board with it, okay. But that's been the Gulf of Mexico forever. Just like it's the Sea of Cortez, not the Gulf of California. I believe the only fucking people that call it the Gulf of California are idiots that never knew what the hell the Sea of Cortez was in between the Baja Peninsula and the rest of the country of Mexico. That's not, there's Baja California and then Baja Sur, but you're not that if you want to call it the Gulf of Baja, okay, but you're not calling it. You're calling it the Gulf of California. It doesn't even fucking touch California, and it's the Sea of Cortez. That's what it is. Google, fuck you. It's the Sea of Cortez. Google, fuck you. It's the Gulf of America, or it's the Gulf. It's the Gulf of Mexico. Anyway, so in the Gulf of Mexico, and even still, I'm correct because at the time it was still being called the Gulf of Mexico. I call it the Gulf of Mexico. Anyway, so I believe that there was a sighting out there similar to David Fravor's. What's this a distraction from? What is this a distraction from? I do believe that there are, like, mathematically, and this is just the easiest thing to say about this. Mathematically, it is ridiculous to think that we are alone in the universe. It's ridiculous. And even when you look at the kind of intelligent life and goofy, creepy looking shit at the depths of our oceans in the most inhospitable environments, like life is everywhere. And my humble opinion is that these things are probably coming from our oceans. I guess, if there's a society out there in the cosmos that has figured out a way to move around different solar systems, hell, even galaxies. Because remember, if you leave a galaxy, you got to go out into dark matter, open space to get from one galaxy to another. And shit, even getting from one planet to another takes, how long would it take for Elon Musk's boat to get to Mars? Something like 8 months or something like that. Take a long time. So if you got, sure, I guess, if you've got wormholes and light speed and you can go to Plaid and transverse the universe, okay. But there's so much of this shit being spotted over our oceans. There's so much of it, these crafts interacting with our oceans, going in and out. I think that it's probably something going on under the water that can, it's transmedium. And so it can be water or, whipped water, which is air. Think of it like that. Buoyancy says that, we recognize gravity largely, but then there's the other theory of buoyancy. Air is what? It's gaseous liquid. That's all it is, right? That's what oxygen is. And if you take water, boil it into its gas and its gaseous state, and it releases up into the atmosphere. We all know that about this crazy thing called evaporation, where the sun will heat up water and it will naturally gas off, and the water will get lower and the oxygen goes off into the air. Anyway, so the law of buoyancy says that our meat sacks are being held to this ground because of how heavy not the environment, the atmosphere is above and around us, but we are uniquely adapted and evolved to live inside of that pressure. And so to us, we can wiggle around and talk and run and drive cars and shit like that. But, once you go down into the ocean, you're just dealing with a far more dense, yes, but you're just dealing with a more dense version of the atmosphere that we live in. And so that's the idea. I'm butchering it a little bit, but that's the idea of buoyancy versus objects with a lot of mass naturally create gravity. And yes, it's true. You can experiment with that yourself. Take like a feather or dice or a coin and hold it a distance from your body. Stand up straight and hold it a distance from your body. And that item, when you drop it, will naturally fall into you. Not like that, but as it's dropping, it will start to move closer to you. Won't touch you, but that's the experiment that it's doing. But then we can get into physics and talk about how the same thing could happen with buoyancy as well. Anyway, let's move on here. What are we getting distracted from? I think we're getting distracted with this whole thing because the failed shit with Iran right now, where Donald Trump says that whatever happened with them over the weekend was completely unacceptable. I've read it. I don't like it. It's completely unacceptable. And that's what I think we're getting distracted from. I'm not going to go into a lot with Iran because it looks like we're going to get back into it. That much is true. I think we probably were joking around a few weeks back about, hey, we'll be back. Because, it's how this shit goes. Seems also, side note, seems like BB was MIA for a hot minute, because I guess he's got fucking some kind of cancer. So he was going through some kind of cancer thing. Didn't know that until today, but all right. Poor guy. Anyway, so I think that if the people are just, we're so fucking one-sided as a group. And that's what I was trying to say earlier about. I don't know if it's the West at large or just America, but we don't remember what the hell we were doing 6 hours ago. And so all the news needs to do is just stop talking about something and we all completely fucking forget about it. So while the conflict in Iran gradually works back up, and we have to do some kind of military action there, that's not going to be very favorable with the public. So what else? Well, let's throw them this UFO shit, see how they react. That's what I think that's going to be about. And or this hantavirus crap, that's next. We're working towards it. So, failed talks, failed mediation through Pakistan and stuff. Trump is on his way to China. Supposed to be talking with Xi Jinping this week. And I imagine that they're going to talk about a few big things. Two of the biggest are Iran. And I think that Xi is probably going to do something about bringing up Taiwan. I did look into what the U.S.'s one China policy states versus the Chinese policy on Taiwan. And the overall answer of all of that is America needs to stop with its gallivanting across the globe. And, China's a non-aggressor nation, even though the what's it called? The PRC, the People's Republic of China, they call it the CCP, but it's the People's Republic of China. And Taiwan is governed by like a capitalist thing. Meanwhile, mainland China has a lot of communism built into their capitalist system. And basically the US and China just kind of agreed to not fuck with it on paper. And but then of course, there's somebody that wants to stir it up. And it's kind of like Israel talking smack about wanting to attack Turkey. Anyway, so that's what I think that is going to be spoken about between Trump and Xi. I think because the two nations are able to, I think because the two nations are able to create a respectable GDP. And we've got billionaires in China, billionaires in America, billionaires in Russia. These folks have more. I think that they can be more productive versus the Trump administration trying to talk with Pakistan versus the Trump administration trying to talk with Iran. I think that if Trump is able to go in and talk with Xi about this Iran thing, Xi would have a hell of a lot more weight in that conversation with Iran than anybody that's talking to him right now does. So I think that's what's going to happen this week with that. Because if it doesn't, man, I've said this a bunch, if this shit keeps going until June, I think the Trump administration is basically cooked. But, who knows? I'm just an idiot sitting in a chair talking in front of an iPad. The other thing that it could be a distraction of is this new hantavirus that you've already, it came out on Friday, May 8th, that 3 people have died, and oh, look at that move, it comes from a cruise ship, etc. Now, it is, I believe that the ship is in the oceans of the U.S. I think that's what I heard as of today. It's no longer off of the coast of South Africa on the west side of the continent. But let's go over a little bit of this. So the boat leaves Argentina and ends up stopping west of the continent of Africa. By the time people get off, there were 7 confirmed cases, 1 potentially confirmable case, 3 people died, others were hospitalized. Now here's where this does get a little bit squirrely. However, it is not any reason to get worked up about. There is only 1 strain of hantavirus that a human can pass to another human. Only 1. It just so happens that that 1 strain does exist in Argentina. The rest of the hantavirus strains, the only way you can get hantavirus is if in that infected feces and urine, it's dried out, it gets kicked up into the dust, into the atmosphere, you inhale it, and then that's the way that you can get hantavirus. It does affect the respiratory system. No, a human cannot give it to another human. Educate yourselves, people. So I first became aware of hantavirus, going on 20 years ago now, when I was in a training environment with the Army, and we go into these, you go to your range, your station, where you're gonna go be doing your stuff, and you get checked into these billets, these big wooden boxes in the middle of the desert. You throw your cots in there, there's nothing in there, it's just a big wooden box with a door so that you can go throw your cot in there. And if you want to be warm, then you better bring a potbelly stove, which will fucking kill you with the carbon monoxide, or you bring some other home device for warmth. If you want to stay cool in the summertime, you're fucked, because you can't. And anyway, there's signs all over these things that say, beware, hantavirus. And it tells you how to properly clean the rat poo and pee off of the floor, because again, this is just a big box, big wooden box in the middle of the desert or wherever the hell you are, and rats and mice are everywhere. And these rats and mice get into this big wooden box and they shit and piss everywhere, and they run around all your stuff in the middle of the night while you're asleep, and they get into your backpacks and they find your food and you find them dead in your bag. Ever happened to you, happened to me. They tell you, you got to use this, and they provided it, you didn't have to bring it in with you, like it was there in the bungalow thing, and so it was like a bleach solution, and then you mop it out, or I don't remember exactly the process, but the point is, they said, do not sweep. And so initially, yeah, you're a little scared. It's like, holy shit, I'm sleeping in a place with stuff all over the floor that's gonna kill me. This sign says I'm gonna die. But again, if you just handle it correctly, you're fine. You're fine. You do not need a mask. You do not need a freaking chemical suit. You don't need 6-foot distancing. You just need to stop being a fucking bitch is what you need to do. Anyway, so I've heard about this hantavirus thing for a long time. I am sure that there are confirmed cases of hantavirus in the United States every year. I am also pretty sure that there were no infected Americans on that boat, and there have been no cases being reported of any hantavirus coming off of that boat into America. See what I'm saying? Liberals, don't even do it. Don't even fucking start. Don't even fucking start. It is incredibly treatable. It is incredibly manageable. It doesn't fuck you up for life if you get it. It's bad. You get sick, and then you go to the doctor. You get your medication, and you just get the fuck over it. Just like with everything else, for eternity before now, up until some douche with a TikTok got some other idiot douche their attention, and they go to their idiot friends and they say, look at this. Anyway, I'm sorry, folks. Like, I'm super cynical on this. I'm watching the news this morning, and this just happened on Friday. The boat, the outbreak. Oh, there's an outbreak. Now, again, everybody's saying that there's not going to be, this isn't a pandemic, blah, blah, blah. Don't put it past a few people in our government, bureaucracy, or incredibly wealthy assholes like Bill Gates to try to influence, to do something. It's a damn good thing Anthony Fauci ain't here anymore, because God knows we'd be masking up again. That was so profitable for whatever industries that it benefited. So profitable. And it's kind of like this Iran thing, man. Like, there are people currently right now making a lot of money off of this Iran thing. And this hantavirus thing could make a lot of money again. And all these fucking dorks would have to do is just play the exact same playbook. They already started it with this fucking coming off of a cruise ship. And people putting up TikToks and stuff like that about how they're so scared. Anyway, I'll do a little bit more digging into this as the week goes on with the hantavirus thing. But there's a bunch of different hantaviruses. Like I said, only one can be transmitted human to human after a human is infected. But the human must be infected by the feces, and then whatever bacteria or shit that's making you sick, then you could pass it on. Only one strain of hantavirus amongst numerous strains of hantavirus. Yes, this strain does come from Argentina. I do not believe it is that strain. So that's, I woke up this morning to already see this shit. Oh my gosh, what do we need to, hey, Dr. Bill, what do we need to be concerned about hantavirus? Dude, don't even fucking talk about it. If it's just not a thing, it's just to get your attention. That's all it is. They're just grabbing for your attention. That's it. And it's up to you if you give it to them. I saw a freaking post on X where it was a meme, like a cartoon drawing, and it said how to protect yourself from hantavirus. And it's two different pictures. One of them, it's an instruction where it says, you take this part of your ear and you lift it up. And then you take an earplug and you put it right there. And then the second part of the image shows the earplug fully inserted into the ear. And that's how you protect yourself from hantavirus. That's true. That's actually precisely how you protect yourself from hantavirus. You just don't fucking listen to them, because they're going to get a piece of you, the gente, the people, they're going to get a piece of you all riled up. And then somebody's going to lose a friend over this shit just the same as COVID. So resist, resist, resist. I I'm not a revolutionary. I'm not an activist. But don't even start with us about hantavirus. Folks, just dig into Google. You know what? Kind of fuck Google, because who knows? I don't really trust them. They're good when they're good, but when they're not good, can't trust it. If you guys have Grok, Perplexity, I don't know what other AIs there are. I wouldn't lean on ChatGPT, but just do a comprehensive dive into what hantavirus is, please. It's kind of like the thing with COVID. That COVID was the second time in my life where there was a SARS-CoV virus come out. Second time. You know what happened the first time? Nothing. A few people got a little bit of cold, a little bit of sick, and boom, it was over. The only reason why COVID hung around for the amount of time that it hung around for is because of our intervention. That's the only reason. If everybody just would have just carry on, we wouldn't be sitting here with the social problems, the economic problems that we have today. So it is up to you to educate your damn self to what hantavirus is. Go to the CDC website. Is this whole little diatribe I'm on right now is kind of don't trust the government, but I mean the CDC.gov website on that will, I mean, the literature on hantavirus is so old. I mean we've known about it forever have we known about what hantavirus is. It's in your basements, it's in your crawl spaces, it's in your attics. If these little sons of bitches are scurrying around in your attic, it's all over every square inch of New York City. Wherever there's rats, there's some possibility of hantavirus. It's everywhere. Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Shreveport, Louisiana, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's fucking everywhere. It's all around you at all times. So just chill the fuck out. Just chill the fuck out. We do not need any more of this bullshit. And shame on the news channels that are picking this up and giving you like inflammatory introductions to the subject. What was I watching? News Nation. And this host, I don't know the names of any of these people, but I was watching News Nation, and this host gets a doctor on there. And the doctor's, giving you the facts about hantavirus. But at the end, he's just like, but don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Yes, these are all the facts of it. No, it is not easy to get. That's like getting hantavirus is like, it's more intentional behavior, like sweeping the poo off of the dried wood floor. But if you're not doing that, then, move on. It's fine. So that's, anyway, I was watching this guy on News Nation, and just the way that he flared up, like the opening part of the segment about, and there's an outbreak of hantavirus or whatever he says. And, and this could jump from shore to shore or whatever. But the point is he didn't come out there and say, well, folks, we're not going to get too much into this, but the station wants me to, and I'll just give it to you straight. A few folks caught hantavirus on a boat. Must have been a dirty boat. Hantavirus ain't a big fucking deal. Don't listen to me or anybody else about it. Carrying on. Next story. Boom. That's what he should have done. He should not have gone on there and say, Dr. Bill, do we need to be concerned about hantavirus? Because just that do we need to be concerned? That whole line of questioning, that's called leading. And that is what will put the idea of concern in a human's head. Just that alone. Just that alone. And with these hyper-liberal crazy fuckers that loved every bit of lockdowns and COVID and mandates and all this sort of shit, those are the kind of people that will say, should we be concerned? Oh my God, yes. Who is this doctor? Oh, that doctor isn't concerned enough for me, so I don't think that they know what they're talking about. We need to mask up because there's a concern to be had. And so if you just don't even give people that fucking fuel. Just don't even give it to them. Yes, it's news. Fine. Put it out fucking somewhere where people can grab it, that they need to read it. And not be fucking sitting there being told, oh yeah, concerned, hantavirus. Like, nobody fucking reads. But, put the info out there. But, put it out there in a form and fashion that, yeah, sure, if you want it, the CDC, boom, it's already out there. Okay, problem solved. Problem fucking solved. Don't even need any news thing about it. Don't need shit about it. If you catch wind of it by hearing somebody talk about it, you go, oh shit, hantavirus, what's hantavirus? CDC.gov. And then you go to the search bar, what's hantavirus? And it pops up, boom, here's the hantavirus page, and you click on that, and it tells you everything you need to know about hantavirus, and that comes directly from the CDC website. So, but I say to put it out there in writing is literally because these fucking people don't read, and so if they're that dumb that they don't read, you don't want them making decisions on their life based on rat poop. Oh my God. Do not pay any attention to the propaganda revolving around hantavirus. I cannot say this enough. Do not do it. We are so fucked from COVID. We need a whole other generation to be born and clear out this horse shit. It's nuts the way that we're behaving right now. We can't have hantavirus doing it again. So now I want to get into, I guess maybe there will be a little bit shorter today, but I want to get into this story. Happened a few years ago. You might remember it, maybe not. But a while back, there was this issue when Joe Biden was president against these two countries, Ukraine and Russia. And you don't hear jack shit about it anymore. But there's still people dying. There's still a conflict. They're still conscripting people off the streets in Ukraine. The U.S. government is, the Trump administration is doing something. They're trying to not fund this thing. Zelensky is a clown. He's not a politician. He's literally a clown. He is actually a clown. He is a puppet clown. He spent his entire career being a clown. Vladimir Putin is a former KGB operative, black belt in judo, and don't take no bullshit. And a clown like Zelensky, I bet Zelensky is genuinely afraid of Vladimir Putin. I would bet that. Just by the actions, stuff that he said about why he refuses to sit down at the table with Putin. He's just always refused, be it with influence from the US and the UK or without. He comes in and behaves like a clown after Trump assumes office, and say all you want about it's maybe they don't wear suits in Ukraine. Then they would be the only goddamn place in the world that they don't wear fucking suits to an important meeting. So put on a goddamn suit, asshole. It's that simple. It's that simple. One issue I have with that Fetterman character is look, dude, I like to wear hoodies and shorts and flip-flops and shit too. I do. But when I go to work, I do my fucking hair, I put on a respectable shirt, and I make sure that I'm presentable and I can go to the meeting. You know, that's what you do. That's what you do. You know, but that's the only negative thing I'll say about Fetterman. So as far as, you know, here in the States. But this Zelensky guy, man, he was a problem from the word go. He is a corrupt relic of, you know, the Biden era of politics. You know, the Biden era started a long time ago. Started in Jimmy Carter, under Jimmy Carter was president. Joe Biden famously plagiarized speeches in the 80s, lied about his education back then, lied about sports back then. Joe Biden has literally always, you can go back on YouTube and just look it up. Just look it up. He has always plagiarized and lied. Always. And when you get into the 80s, you know, comedians back east would have a Joe Biden night where they would take the material of another comedian, different comedian's material, and that comedian that took it would go up on stage for Joe Biden night and tell that other comedian's jokes. That's true. And that was back in like 89 or some shit like that. You know, fast forward to Vice President Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama famously said with a reporter around or a leaker or something, you know, something like, oh, don't send Joe over there because he'll certainly fuck it up. You don't want to be, you know, how in the hell can you be the vice president and everybody makes fun of you for fucking everything up and lying? How is that a thing? That doesn't make much sense to me. But nevertheless, there we have him. And he was, you know, fucking with Ukraine and spending money and taking bribes and corrupt in that region of the world with this whole Burisma thing. You know, he was corrupt back then. He just had whatever way that he was able to fly under the radar with it until, you know, the internet and scrutiny about him being the president. And then, of course, you watch him stand up there as a corpse and spew all the same bullshit, lying crap that he's always spewed. So, so this Zelensky guy he's got to go. Anyway, let me get back on track with why I'm bringing up this Ukraine-Russia thing. Because as of Friday, Trump announced a 3-day ceasefire. Today we're up. So I don't have any news on the end result of that yet. When I hit you up on Wednesday, we'll have more to say about what's going on there. But apparently, I didn't even hear about it until today from the sources that I listen to, and I catch shit 5 minutes after it happens, you know, an hour after. I'll come to you on an episode and I will run my mouth about some shit that literally came out, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours before I click record on this. And those things, when I give you my initial opinion based on, you know, what I know at that moment, by the time I'm recording it, that's over and done with, man. And so this whole thing with the ceasefire apparently that started on Friday the 8th, you know, did you hear about it? I didn't until today, which is hilarious because today is the day that it's void if something doesn't happen. Now, I do understand that Zelensky did agree to sit down and talk. So good for him. Give him a pat on the head. He's a good puppy. Good boy. Good boy. So now he's got to go sit across the table from the boogeyman. And don't even get me into the history of this current conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Don't even do it. We don't have time right now. Again, educate yourselves. But you gotta go back to the 90s under Bill Clinton. Just saying. It's a long story. You know, that's part of our problem being Americans is we just don't have the attention span. We don't have the attention span. We don't have the ability to just sit and absorb and consume and absorb and think about it and say, you know, whether or not you want to believe it, it's fucking true, or whether you want it to be true so bad but it's not. You know, what is that? The Mandela effect, where people say, no, I remember he died in prison. No, he didn't die in prison. He got out of prison. You know, does Curious George have a tail? Don't make me answer that because I don't know, but that's another one. So, yeah, so the Ukraine-Russia thing potentially could be coming to a close. Potentially. You know, I'm sure that Donald Trump has been working on it for, you know, the entire time. But, you know, this motherfucker needs a win when it comes to conflicts right now, right? Because this Iran thing is not going good. And I think this Iran thing not going good, the cynical part of me says it was a trap for him, set by, you know, whatever powers that be. And I don't think it's a winnable thing. I think this Iran thing, this is a stain that'll never come out. That'll never come out. And you know, the U.S. What can you do? You know, you can set up some form of missile defense systems on the water and kind of indefinitely keep a few U.S. assets right there to respond to anything Iran does. You know, you can keep those assets there, keep escorting people through the strait, but as far as what else can we do besides a full-on ground invasion? Well, literally at this point, it's like if you drop any more bombs, you run the risk of a lot of collateral damage, right? Bibi Netanyahu was just out there saying a lot more work needs to be done, and it's just like, whoa, motherfucker! Like, according to who? According to who? And who's gonna do this work? Who's gonna do this work? You gonna pay me? You gonna write the check? Because if you ain't gonna pay me to do it, then I ain't gonna do it. And I'll take my boats and I'll turn the fuck around and go the other way. I'll just let you, like, no matter what, Israel has to deal with living in the same neighborhood as Iran. No matter what. The U.S. gets no goods from there. We supply some of our like bases and things with whatever goods and stuff come out of there, just by proxy of being in the area. But as far as any oil, goods, services, anything like that, the U.S., nothing from that area. But Iran has a lot of oil, and so the oil markets, as you see, are going back up high. I think as of today, oil's kissing $100 a barrel again. So the only thing that you can do at this point with Iran is just fucking leave and let the chips fall where they may. Because I do not believe, like, they've already killed a whole bunch of folks. You know, now they would have to literally, like, wipe out every fucking leadership, all the leadership of the IRGC. That's what they would have to do. Because who knows if the actual Ayatollah is alive. I'm sure he is, you know, but then you hear all the propaganda. He's horribly misfigured. He can't even talk. He doesn't have a leg. Okay. But he, you know, he put out a written statement. But he doesn't have eyes to see. What the fuck? So like it's and the president, you know, the actual government, the head of everything that looks over like the fiscal shit, they're useless. Like the president of Iran, the reason why you don't know what the name of the president of Iran is because he's not like he's a figurehead. He doesn't actually have much of any power in that country. He oversees day-to-day shit, regulations, you know, fiscal stuff. That's what he does. The Ayatollah calls the shots. The IRGC says, this is what we're going to do to, you know, to over here. And the Ayatollah says, pray, you know, Muhammad, you know, may peace be upon his head, you know, go forth and you know, God willing, you know, do your thing. And then the IRGC, the military wing, goes out and, you know, runs over protesters or whatever the fuck they do. And so right now you're dealing with the IRGC, and the IRGC are like they are the super duper radicals over there in Iran. And you're never gonna, a military man, doesn't matter what country you're in except for France, you know, it's to the death. It's to the death. There is no surrender. So if that's what we're dealing with over there, and that's what we're dealing with. So yeah, you just kind of have to say, you know what, sorry, and fucking leave. But this Ukraine-Russia thing, if this can come to a close, you know, that's a feather in the cap of Donald Trump. He'll never get over this stain of Iran, but at least he can say he stopped. I think he's stopped like 7 other conflicts around the world that none of y'all have ever heard of, and a few of them that I didn't even know about. Not to say that I'm the fucking person that knows all about this shit. I'm just saying, like, Donald Trump has stopped a few conflicts. Since being back in office, it looks like this Ukraine-Russia thing could be coming to a close. That would be nice. And that would be a feather in his cap. And then I think that right after that, you have to have open elections for the Ukrainian people, so that Vladimir Zelensky can be voted out of office. And you know, the United States just needs to stop doing this. We just need to stop. So, folks, that's my time. We'll come back to you on Wednesday. Apologies for not hitting this one at the beginning of everything, but yesterday, the 10th of May, was Mother's Day. So happy belated Mother's Day to any and all of you. Tell Mom I said hi. Please like and subscribe. Uniquely Unqualified Podcast. This has been episode 17. We're moving along. Thank you much. We will see you on Wednesday.